Come, let me get you something.
Yo, 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 what's up?
What's up?
How's it going? Mundo in the house. We are live. And we got James from Mountain Sabers.
What's up,
What
guys?
is going on? What is going on? How was your Christmas, man?
Good. How about you?
Oh, it was good. It was good. I haven't gotten anything that I wanted just yet, but I got some cool stuff, man. And my kids, they got me some of those Lego Star Wars stuff. And I tell you, anybody who wants to learn or needs to learn some patience, work on those things because you need patience to work on those things, man. Oh,
Yeah,
I'm gonna
man.
show you. I got I got a couple of ships, the Nubian ships, and I've got a an Obi-Wan and a Vader deal. So I'm gonna show you the little Vader dude right here.
Oh
He's
man,
got the
that's
little,
awesome.
yeah, I built him today, man. And I was stoked. I got to work on the Obi-Wan, man. And then what up, dude?
Yeah, good.
Titan's in the house.
What's up, guys?
So you had a pretty good Christmas, huh?
Yeah,
Pretty
not too bad.
eventful.
It was relaxing and got to see some family and friends and stuff, and then it starts pouring in again. I got like 3 on the table and like 4 or 5 more on the way, and it's been really great, man. I'm having so much fun designing these things and doing chassis and installs and the sound fonts. Is a lot of fun, man. So I look forward
I
to
really enjoyed
2025.
I really enjoyed your end of the year video, man. It was pretty good.
Thank you. Yeah, it's just a little thing I like to throw together. I love doing videos and stuff. So, I had a couple of different projects out there. It wasn't all of them, but at least it was like the basic detail on what, can be done and the accomplishments and all that stuff. I chose some of the cool ones like that that home art flashlight uh, build, which was pretty cool. Turned that thing into a lightsaber. Now that was a lot, but we did it. So things like that,
Right.
made the year in review all that much better. And then obviously a big long laundry list of thank yous to everybody, and that's in the community, and I'm supporting everybody nationwide, worldwide. So
Yeah, I
uh,
think it's important
you,
that we support each other in this community, in this hobby, and have each other's
yeah,
backs because so much animosity with different things in this world. And we need to make sure that, that animosity kind of stays away from everything. Now, I do understand that not everybody's going to get along with everybody. But when it comes to some of this stuff, hey, even if you don't like that person, take the time, help them out a little bit. Even if you don't like them, just, offer some advice and then be done with it. And keep it civil. So in that respect, though, respect is everything in this hobby as well. I mean, if you have no respect for anybody, regardless of what they're going through, what they're trying to accomplish, or anything else like that, then stay in your corner, but be civil. Hi, bye, thank you for your advice, and leave it at that. But for the most part, try to have fun with everybody because that's what this hobby is about. It's about having fun, and it's about really enjoying what we love about Star Wars. And
well, I think some of it comes from the frustration. Everything is new now. Everything is coming out now, so there's a lot of things to learn. There's updates. There's all kinds of things. So everybody's wrestling and running to get the final things loaded on Saber, and then something doesn't work, and then they get mad, and then they're like, "Oh, this is crazy. Why doesn't this work?" And it's like, so I could understand their frustration. We've all been there. We've all done that. Why things sometimes it doesn't
right,
load or this sound font doesn't work, but you know, like we're all gonna be through that, once in our life. In fact, I still go through it because there was some crazy corruption going on with an SD card just the other day, it was not letting me do like anything, and it didn't even have any safe states or anything like that. So it was just crazy how it wound up. But anyway, it's all fixed, it's working, and I was happy about that. But it just I think more patience really needs to be out there, and I think with trying to understand what the other person's needs are, and I mean it's hard if
Yeah,
we're talking about visual, right? They don't
yeah,
know how actually to explain it word wise because they've seen it visually, so they have to explain it in a visual way. This
yeah,
happened this
exactly.
way. It's making noise or it's beeping or so, you know, I think just a little bit more patience and trying to get to the understanding of the cause and allowing us to do that, I think would be part of more of the respect line. Let us help you. I know it's a rush job. Oh God, I got to get this done. I got to wait just a second because if you rush, you know what happens.
Hmm.
One, that number one thing can turn into three and four, and then you'll be like, really, then it's no more. It's not fun anymore. So we don't
Yeah,
want that to happen.
exactly. Yeah, and that's the thing that I'm kind of getting at right there is that we want to keep it as fun as possible, no matter
Yeah.
what sections you're doing, whether it be a full build, whether it be sound font building, whether it be, whatever the faction of the hobby that you're doing, we want to make it as enjoyable as possible, right?
Oh
And
yeah.
uh, and so for this next year coming up, I really do hope and appreciate anybody who's coming into the hobby and leaving the hobby. I mean, it is an expensive hobby, you know,
Oh,
and
it can be.
and for
It can
those,
be.
yeah, it can be. But if you manage yourself right, I mean, it can be an enjoyable and a lot of the hobby is like you know a few people say art that you can fight with, right? Or it's just a lot of it is really art. I mean, the same as you would buy a painting, the same as you would buy any other product out there that somebody's making. And if it has value and if it brings value to your life, then it's really well worth it. um, like the value that I get out of doing the install and working on this stuff is several things, right? And we're gonna get and for those of you who are watching right now, of course, the title is Blade Length, and we'll get to that after a little bit, um, because what we're talking about right now is going to coincide with everything. Because even if you're doing in pieces and parts, your blade length is going to come into play as well, right? And if you're starting out in the hobby and everything else like that, you don't know where to start. There's lots of videos to start out and everything like that. And if you want to, and I encourage people who are just now watching this video and are learning about stuff, come and hang out with us too. And if you got questions, make some comments and we'll do our best to help answer them and stuff like that. Um, now going on after that, uh, oh my gosh, my brain is going 100 miles an hour because my brain hasn't switched to the blades just yet, right? But in starting with the hobby, and you want to know where you're going at with this hobby,
Oh,
what blade length do I do? Where do I start? Where do I go? And everything else like that in between. And as I mentioned, there's quite a few good videos out there. Nerf Herder has put out some wonderful videos, and Lando Sabers. I hope he still has his videos still out there on the companies to buy with. And now I've seen some other new videos that are coming out on which companies to go with and which companies sort of kind of stay away with. One of the people that I've been watching lately is Hyperdrive, and he does a pretty good, you know, reviewing of sabers and companies as well. And I'm very grateful that he does some of those reviews as well. And if nobody has heard of Jeremy from Solos, I mean his stuff is phenomenal too. And if you guys have not heard Mountain Sabers. Well, James right here, who's with me, and Mountain Sabers produces some great sound fonts, produces some great chassis for if you want to turn your flashlights into lightsabers. You know, he's your man. So,
That's the fun
and
part,
there's
man.
so many, and it's it's like one big piece of a big puzzle, right? In doing some of these.
I think it's like we were talking about. It was visual, it was tactile, and I think it's a very spiritual thing because it's there's a combination between a lot of things, light and sound, and those two things together are very very unique. And there only usually is one particular mesh or a couple different meshes that people really adore in their own heads, like a different tone
Hmm.
or a cracking sound or something like combination.
Hmm.
Like we were talking about the other day, Tie Fighter and a guitar solo and all the other stuff. What would it sound like? What would it be like? So those are the things
Hmm.
that like I as a font maker go, well, let me see what it meant. So let's see what we could do. Um,
Hmm.
and that's where the custom stuff comes in, because it's more or less it's less canon than it would be, with the regular sounds that are out there now, including I have a
Oh
couple of
yeah.
those, just standard ones out there, but there's a lot out there, and I think those pertain to what they usually normally sound like, but sometimes we go hog wild and we do some weird shit, and that's what happens. And I think that's all part of it. It's like it's not on the everyday menu. It's something different. So
Right. Right. Charlie, I
I'm
hope you
gonna
have
get
a good workout, man. So let's get into the blades a little bit. And
yeah,
do
sure,
you
yeah.
do you have how many different sizes of blades do you have, or do you have all of the same size blades, or do you have like maybe one shorter than the other? I'm in the process of actually trying to make a lamp saver for myself.
I don't know what in the air is clicking today, but I was thinking of the same exact thing. You know what I mean? Because I love the light, and you can change it to anything you want, and it's also possible to to power it, with a
Hmm.
with a power supply and stuff instead of a battery. But it is a great idea, and it's easy to do. I mean, I did a 3D printed one, right? And then you just get
Hmm.
the little LEDs that change, with the remote control, and it is the most coolest thing, and you can print out the lampshade that has all the Star Wars, pictures on it, and it's
Hmm.
really pretty cool stuff. But good
Star Wars
idea, yeah.
Architect, welcome.
So
As a
you're
matter
talking
of
about
fact,
like blades. Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
yeah, Blades. No, no, I'm talking about Blades, but Star Wars Architect says that a lightsaber lamp would be dope. As a matter of
Oh
fact,
yeah,
I don't know if I brought one out. Hold on, just a second here.
yeah.
My daughters, God bless them, I love them. They went to Home Goods and they picked this up for me.
Oh no. Oh, that's great, man. That's cool, man.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
yeah. That's
there you go,
awesome.
Star Wars Architect. you know,
That's
they picked
cool.
that one up, and then my brother-in-law. Check this one out. This is crazy, and this is a motion lamp that my brother-in-law got for me.
Yeah, man. The lava lamps are awesome, man.
Yeah, I was all like,
That is
man, that was so. Like I said, I got some cool stuff, right,
that
for
is
uh,
cool stuff.
for Christmas, and I'm man, I had to pay some bills, and I had the money to get the arc light, but the backlight hilt, and I was all like, oh man. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna pay this bill, and then I'm gonna sell some stuff, and I'm gonna get the hilt. Because I was like, I this year, 2025, I am going to get that hilt. I've been trying to get it for 2 years, and I've got to make myself a promise to get it this year by the end of the
Yeah,
2025, man.
that's awesome.
And I want to get it. And like I said, every Christmas I was supposed to get it, and it ain't worked out. But it will work out this year. Uh,
That's great.
I've already put some things that I know I'm going to get rid of, sell, and exactly how much money it is, and I'm going to go from there from that part, right?
That's what it's all about. You know, it's you need
Yeah,
something that you want, you work real hard for it, and you get it, and that's also part of the spirituality of it. You know, it's like it's
exactly.
calling. You know, it's calling.
So I took apart one of my blades. I have a 28-inch blade right here. Okay.
Okay.
Now, for the people who don't know exactly what length to get of blade, you can buy. Okay, and this is totally up to you. And again, it's everybody's individual choice. Is to go to TCSS and they sell the blade stock at 40 inches. And I think the standard for when you buy a blade is I think it's 36 inches, right?
36 is
Normally,
usually
yeah, the
about
standard,
it.
right? For for
Yeah.
for a fully made blade,
Usually, I
it's
can
usually
measure my
36.
really long one, but it's like the really long one is about. It's probably about that long, probably about 36, I
The
think.
36, yeah. And if anybody needs longer than that, of course you do the full 40. But I don't see very many people doing full 40. And for those of you who are interested in learning on what length of blade that you need, a lot of times it basically depends on your height. I mean, for somebody who's 6 foot, you're going to need at least a 36, 37-inch blade, right? I mean, you're tall. I mean, it's a long blade. Now, for
Well,
somebody
I think
who is very short,
I I think what it is, it's all about the balance. It's all about the
hmm
balance and the force. Trying to do my
the,
Obi Wan.
the,
I don't know if it's working, but you know, but yeah, it's all about balance. I think because short blades really work well with certain feet. Um,
Mhm.
certain moves and things like that. Long blades are really like a very long flowing, but very high power attacks, like high power stuff. Which I think like that's one of the cool reasons why Ahsoka had almost a standard blade and a short blade because the short one does the real quick stabbing, thrust motions, and it was really intense. Um,
Oh yeah,
yeah.
yeah. And thanks, Star Wars architect. Yeah, he's got
Oh,
some
look at
really
my
cool stuff,
backlighting.
man.
Oh, I can change
Yeah.
it behind me. I kept it green and red for the holidays and stuff, but it's pretty cool. Yeah, I love this little case. I made all of that, and I did all the helmets and stuff, and got one from Solar Sabers right up there. He helped print me out one. That one you saw that one a
Oh,
couple
that's
months
cool.
ago. Oh
I think
yeah,
eventually I might get some helmets eventually. Yeah.
they're really fun to print out, and they're really I'm just getting into it now more because I did a couple of those little boxes with the eyes for the 3PO for one of our
hmm
colleagues out there, and I think Warren's. I don't know if Warren's out there tonight, but if he is, hello. Um, Made him the eyes with the red and the yellow changer, which was pretty cool. And
Oh yeah.
it completes his 3D printed helmet. So it's like, what do you do? It's like, light it up. But anything could be lit up like that. It could even have sound too. But he just didn't want it. He didn't
Right.
want it all that. He just wanted he wanted it to run on regular batteries too, like the regular double A's that you buy in the store. And I'm like, no problem. So it came out cool.
And I also think that the length of or the size of the hilt, I guess, is really important for the blade length as well, right? So if you got almost like a one-handed saber or a two-handed saber, so to speak, depending on whether you're going for that power, that power strokes,
I mean,
power
this is
hits, you know.
these you can consider pretty much both, because it's you can even held it down here if you had to, but it's like
Mm-hmm.
I think either way, he had a pretty long blade length. If
Mm-hmm.
we go back to the original Luke saber, he had it was pretty long. Um,
Yeah, it was a 30. I think it was about a 36-inch blade, right? For the very
yeah,
first blade that actually came out.
I'm gonna get my measuring tape. Hang on a second, because I keep forgetting what mine is. Let me see what it looks like here. Well, I mean, hold on. Let me see. I got it measured on the table here.
And especially when it comes to blade depth,
Well,
because you have to account
what
for
I have
that
right.
as well.
Yeah, I think mine. This one in my Luke one is a 32,
Mm-hmm.
and I have. I think this one. Yeah. So yeah, and I have a 36. So I have the 32, 36, and then I have two shorties, which I like to
Mm-hmm.
use when I want to just check out the effects and stuff. So I make little ones like this, just really quick ones. You cut the stock
Mm-hmm.
off, and So I have
Yeah,
like
that's the
I
one
have
that I want to make right there.
yeah, these are like the tiny ones, and then you have the Quillian size blades. I got a couple of those, which are nice
Mm-hmm.
to test. For like the Kylo Ren type, tilts. What was I gonna say?
Now those shorties are
Yeah,
probably what, like maybe 16 or well, maybe not even that. What, 12?
for the
12 inches?
Quillians,
Yeah, for the Quillians.
they're less. They're about like 6 or 8 inches, I think. I
Oh,
don't even
six
think
or eight.
they're.
Okay.
Yeah, they're definitely not a foot. So they're probably about 6 or 8 inches. And I like the 7/8 too. The 7/8 is really nice. The size, they're both the same length, but different. The different hilt sizes that take the blade
Mm-hmm.
size are really pretty cool.
See, I this year I promised myself also that I was gonna buy a 7/8 blade stock, and I actually did. So, sitting over here behind me, I have a box that has both the regular 1-inch blade stock of 40 and the 7/8 inch stock of 40 inches, right? And those are going to cut down. And uh, like I said, I've got a 32-inch blade right here, and I already got my new LED strips in. So my next thing is to cut my 32-inch LED strips first, and then what I have left over, um, I'm not sure what I'm going to do just yet with what I got left over. But however, and this is one of Space's blades right here, right? Um, and that's a 30-inch blade right there. Um, let me put this up. And so what I did was because I was having such problems with the 28-inch blade, I took the LEDs out, and I'm trying to find out what the problem with the strip is, right? I've got my little tester here. Um, and then it says that I find 32-inch blade great spinning and photos. 36 blade looks great. Yeah, there you go. See? And then knows what's up.
Yeah, I
So
have
I've
the
got my little
32-inch
tester.
blade here too, which is pretty cool. I I, I,
Hmm.
um, I got one of those other ones that have like the quad. This is like the whole thing that is like a quad wraparound one. So
Hmm.
I'm checking that out. But um, really important for me is so that blade tip has blade tip is there. The color, like the lighting. I
Right.
like the blade. I like the blade tip to shine and nothing around the tip, like you can see, like diffusion and stuff. Sometimes it's
Hmm.
hard to get out, and sometimes it's not. But you know, it looks
Now, do
great on
you do the
camera.
same?
You know,
Hmm. Do you do the same thing that Anthony or Space Windu does? Is kind of drill the tip out a little bit
Well,
for
usually,
that
well, I
LED?
mean, I think I get well the kits that usually I just use for home are not the
Hmm.
not the glue on kind. They're usually just a screw on kind. I don't care about my own stuff, but for somebody else, I would go for the
Hmm.
really nice drilled out tips that match the blade. Um, uh, what I'm looking at, the consistency and the same type of plastic,
Right.
because I
Hmm.
think that's making a big difference now for diffusion.
Right.
Yeah, and if it's really hollowed out like a lot, I think it'll shine a lot better. But I still want to see that needle LED come straight up right through that front. I think that makes a
Hmm.
hell of a difference.
I think so too. Hey, what up, JT? Long time no see, brother. And he says he always uses a 30 to 32, and that's a perfect spinning common saber. Ah, very
Yeah,
good.
yeah, yeah.
See? So 30 and 32 is pretty common, as well
So
as the 36.
I forget that this is because, and this you don't have to change these big blades. Like this is the quad one. This is like the monster one, but I'm still working on this one a little bit. I wanted to try myself to take care of the tip problem and see if I can find an LED and attach it to this. But
Hmm.
that's probably going to be in the future. But I just love how I like having this whole thing lit up. It does look like it does. It does. So like if I fire this up, it'll look good on camera. Well, if I
Hmm.
can get it in there. See? I mean,
Yeah.
it looks like the tip's great, right?
Hmm.
But you can't see what I see here, which is just a hairline of shadowing right on the very tip and here. So when you're out
Hmm.
live, it doesn't look like this. But I'll tell you, because of the camera, it's very bright. Um,
Right.
um, but if you're, I mean, it's a bright blade. Don't get me wrong. This thing is burning my eyes, my retinas. I'm like seeing stars now. It's super bright
I get
because
the same thing.
you know what I mean.
Oh yeah.
So for camera, I think it's great if the things are little tiny little things are fixed and cleaned up with this particular model. But I've never had noticed anything major in other blades, before. Uh, but I
Now
always
I
try to
think
put
it
that
is
little LED
important.
in the front.
Oh yeah. Now I think it is very important that not only that you have the proper diffusion in within the blade, but at the same time that people who are watching videos and everything, they do need to understand that there's just a bit of difference between seeing the blade in person and seeing it, on the videos, right? And there's because there's that slight gap that it's much brighter, you see a lot of different things when you're seeing it on a video as compared to when you see it on live, uh
Yeah.
in person in your hand. And there's a
I mean, you just saw
misconception.
that. You just saw how bright that thing was. I wouldn't have to really do much of anything on camera. I mean, that's a pretty bright
Right.
blade. So for filtering, it all depends on the scene and all that other stuff. But this is, if I get this blade tip to work the way I want it, this thing is ready to go. So it's like it's pretty nice. It's not my
Hmm.
design. I didn't make it, but I just, for my own purpose and to see if I can actually achieve that little extra oomph on the end. And
Right.
but I love blades that are fully show blades, and my opinion is, I don't know how it could be possibly done, but do away with the tips altogether and make this thing one solid piece because
That would be
it won't.
very that, that would be
You
an
know what I
interesting
mean?
concept. I
Have
wonder
the have
if
the have it the same, like the blade tip, have it the same way out, but you'll have to categorize these and make them a little thicker for like battle blades and stuff like that. But if it's just for a show blade and you're not going to be making any like major contact, I think those would be really great to mess around with
Mhm.
just the tube, round it off at the top, and then come right inside one way and see what the diffusion, like it'll look like it's really like one piece. And some days the tips, I don't know what happens, but the tips start to have this weird look to them. They don't really.
Hmm.
It's either something is in there, there's some kind of glue, or the foam is bad, or the or the layering of the tip when it goes in. So many variables, but
Hmm.
a solid tube with a round end, and you know what? Remember the like Rebels and stuff like that. Sometimes the blades were a little bit not so rounded. It wasn't that cone.
Right.
Some of it came out to a nice little tip. So I know I'm not talking
Yeah.
like stabbing sharp, but just something like a little bit more, you know, to fit the needs of like that character. Be cool to
I
have one
think the
too.
one way I think the one way they would have to do is be kind of almost like a molded kind of blade. You know what I
Yep,
mean?
yep,
Now,
yep,
if that's not possible, then what they could do is fuse the tip and the body of the of the blade together and then kind of drill
yeah,
it out until the seam is gone. I mean, you literally glue the tip on there and then fuse it and then drill it out to where there's no seam left. And I think that
yeah,
would be the only way they could really achieve that, you know?
yeah. Well, quality products like the quality stuff like a good blade, good tube, made by a good company and good tips that match that quality of the blade, because I think those two combined, some are like looking yellowy lately, some have like either
Hmm.
glue on the end to keep it from vibrating, or there's a lot of little variables that I noticed when I started looking at blades and stuff, on my own. And I built a couple,
Hmm.
you know, um, double strips and stuff. That nothing spectacular, but um, I noticed how they were achieving certain things, as far as diffusion and stuff, and it's exactly what we're talking about. A nice open
Hmm.
tube that has very little or no extra diffusion than what it has inside, like the foam.
Now, one of the things that I actually started and I'm doing this year as well is the nylon diffuser along with, instead of
Yeah,
using the wrap,
hmm,
which is what I had in here initially.
yeah,
Um, I was talking to Anthony and he says he very rarely uses both the nylon and the wrap. But if he does use the wrap, it's a very thin layer of wrap within the nylon plus you know,
oh
the
yeah,
foam.
yeah,
And I said to myself that this year or this time I'll go around with the 28-inch blade. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna try the nylon diffuser along with just the foam and see how that's gonna work out differently than the way I had with the wrap and the cellophane. And I'm thinking to myself, well, if it could be brighter, and or how it's going to work a little differently, I'm not sure. But I'm just so curious and I'm so excited to try this different method to see the difference in all of that, right?
oh yeah. It's
Um,
always good to check it
whether
out and see what else can be done better, or not, or or something
Mhm.
that would make you feel good enough that, hey, I like the way this blade came out, or I want to try it myself or build it myself, and I like the way he builds it, and I think that's important. It's good because you know just
Yeah,
everybody has
I think
different
you should
different
try.
feels.
Right, and you're so correct on that. I think everybody should try the different ways and see what
Why
they
not?
actually like, which works for them better.
Yeah.
And one of the thing, well, another reason why I wanted to try uh the other way was because of not using the cellophane. Would
Hmm.
it be much easier to do it that way? You save a little bit of time doing it that way than you would the cellophane. And I'm all like, okay, well, the nylon diffuser, I don't have to wrap anything around it. I just have to put the blade in, close it up and everything else like that. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, I'm gonna save at least a day and a half of work just not messing with the wrap, right? And
Well, yeah, it depends on what what you're trying to achieve. Like if if they both function pretty well. The wrap is a pretty good way of totally isolating that direct light, as opposed to the if it's just in foam, and then you put the tube, the isolate, diffusion. I guess it's white tubing around it. It's
right.
only deflecting it afterwards, but this is kind of the cellophane is deflecting it beforehand, and
Hmm.
I think it creates more of a nice blend, without having like a lot of shadowing effect, which is
Hmm.
it's almost like a prism. It's like a reflection of light, but it tones it down so much that you don't see all the little individual LEDs going. There it is. you know,
Yeah.
like we used to have with the old ones. All those LEDs. They tried, but it
Yeah.
wasn't enough. But now I think a lot of people have it down to science now, and how they want the blade to look and be. You know.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, the play in the it's so funny because having some blade stock and being able to have, your blade plug as opposed to a short blade, as opposed to your long blade, and then as opposed to your show blade, as opposed to your everyday blade, right?
Yeah.
So many
Yeah.
choices. Like,
There
which
is.
one? You have the choices of what functionality you're going to use with your blade, right? Whether it be the long blade, the short blade. What are your goals? What are your go-to things? If you're going to a con, if you're going to, let's say you're going to sell some of these blades. Let's say you're going to showcase these blades on a YouTube channel. Are you going to showcase the blades just to anybody, your neighbors, because you're just showing things off? Which blade are you gonna you choose? Which length of blade are you gonna use? Are you gonna switch like from your blade plug to your short blade? Are you gonna switch to your blade plug to your long blade? Or you're just gonna showcase the long blade itself? I mean, depending on the situation that you're in and what you're actually trying to achieve, it actually makes a world of difference on what you choose as well for your length of blade, where you're at, what you're doing in that time, in that moment, right?
Oh, absolutely. I like the 32 for myself because it's just the right balance with this hilt, because his hilt is it's not the most comfortable to do all kinds of crazy things with. You have a lot going on with the buttons and in the way. I mean, I can handle it pretty decently, but it's still not like a small, thin line, and the one that you can do more um, acrobatics with, and more tricks and more flowing moves with it,
Hmm.
as well as this, where it's more of a real sword fight kind of thing. It's a few different motions with this. I mean, he did a lot with this, but um, I just find that a 32 works just well with this anyway.
Hmm.
It puts the balance in this particular hill. Um,
And another thing is that you also have to account for blade depth in your
yeah,
hilt when you're
yeah,
actually making your blades, if you're going that route. Now, of course, if you're not making your own blade and you are buying a blade either from TCSS or some other maker, especially Anthony Space Window at Civilized Sabers. which we are here, Civilized Saber Talk. And you know, if you're going that route and you have an idea of the length of blade that you're going to choose, if you have your hilt in hand, okay, take time and grab your blade. And I'm going to tell you, this is a 30-inch blade. I think this is a 32 or a 30-inch blade that Anthony gave me. But this, of course, this is the balance, right? I have not yet decided how much blade I'm gonna need for this hilt. It's a fairly decent, length hilt. Yeah, I can use two hands or I can use one hand. More or less, I'm gonna use one hand with it. I have not, however, accounted for the blade depth in here. And look at that depth in there. That is
Actually,
crazy.
that's in there.
Yeah,
That's in
it's
there.
a. I haven't finished with the chassis yet. I'm just kind of messing around with the
But that's
pins to
pretty good
see.
because at least you know the blade won't fall out. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah,
have more of a bite on there. It'll go down nice and smooth, and it won't bend the actual ends of the blade and things like that. You know.
so that's how
Oh
much
yeah,
blade depth I'm gonna have right there.
yeah, yeah. It's
That's a
about two
pretty
and
good
three
amount of
quarter
blade depth.
inches.
Yeah, that when most of my hilts are pretty much right here,
Yeah,
and so you can see the difference on the amount of length of blade depth that I have from my normal hilts compared to the balance right here, right?
yeah.
On how much that's in between. So Roy
This
Boy,
Graflex is this Graflex is like 2 inches. It has a 2 inch depth on it. Whoops. So I've got it just like on kill keyed, but I have it goes to sleep, which is kind of nice. But yeah, it's only 2 inches in here, but it's got everything holding it. It's got the bunny ears holding it. It has
Mhm.
the locking Allen right down there. It's not
And
going
that's
anywhere.
good. The more you can grab onto it, the better, man. So you
Yeah. Oh
know.
sure, sure.
I think some of those, if you're going for the hilts that you're gonna do some, light combat with or whatever have you will, you want to make sure that you have a decent blade blade depth so that you're whacking the heck out of these things and you're not gonna have your blade fall out on you because of the vibrations. So
Yeah,
the more you
or
can
the
grip
tips
onto it,
flying
the
off.
better.
That's why I was saying get rid of the tips altogether. Go one solid tube, and I think problem solved. You know what I mean? It's pretty cool, and
I've
I
seen
think
so
it'll
many
look killer
videos with
too.
tips flying. It's hilarious.
Oh yeah, yeah. I've done
And,
it.
and,
It's pretty crazy.
I'm so like, man, I have yet to do that, man. I have yet to do to bash another blade with another blade and have the
Oh
tips
man,
fly
it's
off.
crazy. Let me
Uh,
go grab my other thing. Hold on. I'll be right back. I'll still hearing you. I'm just gonna go
go
grab.
for, yeah, go for it, man. So, blade depth, I think is definitely a must-have if you're going to build your own blades. Quite, make sure that you get the blade depth correct because let's say if you don't and you're wanting a 30-inch blade, you cut it 30 inches, but then you have a 2-inch depth, then you're going to have a 28-inch blade on there, right? Even though it's 30, you're still from the emitter to the tip of the blade, you're going to have a 28-inch blade. Now, you know, when you acquire the measurements, and it doesn't take much to do that. I mean, you can grab anything that you want to try and acquire your blade depth for your blades. and then measure out your blade. Now, you can also do is to get your if you are making your own blade, get your blade stock, right? Before you cut anything, get your blade stock, put your blade stock in there, mark off, and then measure on how much blade depth that you have. And then from that point, you measure from where you're for the end of your blade depth going all the way to where you're actually going to have the amount of blade that you want, right? And that way that you have your total blade depth and your total blade length all together. And so let's say you want a 28-inch blade like I do, right? So this, you know, for the 1 inch pretty much blade depth from the Roy Boy that I have, um, this is 29 inches right here. So the 29 inches with the blade depth of 1 inch goes in, and my blade is 28 inches long. After putting it in this saber. So measure out correctly, and like they say, measure twice, cut once, right?
Mm.
And then everything else will follow, and take your time in doing it. Um, you know, that's best advice that anybody gives is to take your time and measure once, measure twice, cut once. Rob always
Yeah,
says
that's
that
it.
too. Rob Petkow
Yeah.
has some really good videos on teaching you on all kinds of things saber related. I mean, and there's a lot of videos out there that you could really learn from. Um,
Oh, there's
you know,
tons of them out there. Absolutely.
it, and even Shamim is starting to reopen some of his old videos from
Yep.
like I think 4 years ago. And I started
Yep.
rewatching those, and oh my God, like
Good place to start and
unbelievable
learn again
stuff.
too. Like all the older
Yeah.
videos, it's a great place to start. To get involved and absorb more. You know, because a lot has changed.
When I started it, I couldn't believe it because I was doing such slow stuff. Everything went super, super fast in everything changing. And I'm talking boards, technology, wiring. Oh my God, the chassis. When everybody was starting, when I was starting out, everybody was doing the metal chassis stuff, right? The chassis disc
Yep.
like this from TCSS. And
Yep.
they were doing chassis with these things. And I still have enough to make probably two chassis maybe. And I'm going to utilize them eventually. But things have changed so much now. Everybody's 3D printing chassis, right? Everybody's 3D printing. Here's one that I
Yep.
got from Wickedson Sabers. Now I started using that rub and buff on it, and getting it kind of colored up a little bit. So not too
The stuff
bad.
works really good too. It works good. It stays on
Yeah,
there pretty well and it absorbs right in. It's nice, good
it
stuff.
does, and I mean, it looks so pretty. I mean, it looks pretty dang good like that.
Looks like, yeah, it
Getting
sure
in there.
does.
I mean, it's not done by no means at all, but every chance I get, I do a little bit here, a little bit there, and eventually it'll get all done right there. But yeah, for the most part. Um, but I've also
Yeah, it
been
also
kind of
depends on
working.
how much room you have, in each hilt that you buy. You'll always have the blade, which is normally standard 32, but then mine becomes a 30-inch because you're missing 2 inches, and you were missing four, 2.5 or something. So it's, and
Oh, and it
you'll notice the difference in the balance when just on that 2 inches alone, and
yeah,
it changes the whole effect.
yeah. Oh,
But
it
I
does.
think, but I think 2 inches on this hilt for this hilt works because it sets the balance point in a good spot where it's not like feels wobbly,
Hmm.
and you don't want the
Do you
wobble. You
have
want it to be tight.
Do you have an OB1?
Yeah.
Okay, so the OB1 has a very short,
Yeah, like
short
nothing.
blade depth, right? Like
Yep.
nothing, right?
Yep.
And for that kind of for that kind of hilt,
Hmm.
since the blade depth is really nothing, I
Yep.
think what a 7/8, maybe a 28-inch blade would be appropriate for it.
Yeah, you can go. Well, I've seen a lot of people try to go with the light grade materials because you could still have a one
Uh-huh.
inch but have it super light. Um,
Mm-hmm.
mine mine I think is a I think mine is a 1 inch, but I also have a light grade, a very light. It's super light, but it's about probably a 28-inch blade. You know, it's not like
Mm-hmm.
the heavy duty battle blade or anything, but um, it goes in there and it locks it down. But like again, you wouldn't want to connect with anybody with it because it'll just pop out or break the chassis or break the neck part off. It depends. Depends on how
Yeah,
deep that
that's
is,
another thing.
or if it's a recess blade, like the blade that goes
Mm-hmm.
past everything and it gives you a little bit extra depth, that way too. But
Right.
sometimes it can modify them like that.
Gertrude Stiddy, welcome to the show, my friend. Glad to have you here. It's really about length, about girth. Mine looks about like a tuna can. Ah, yeah, a tuna can, huh? Man,
Mhm.
I can see that actually because in Obi-Wan, if you actually look at it, man, if you actually look at the emitter part, and uh, and I'm actually picturing it right now too. It looks like a big old tuna can with a rim around it, you know?
Yeah, you just need a can opener to open that stuff up.
Right? Gertrude's. We're talking right now. Well, I mean, we're talking about all lightsabers, dude. But at the same time, we're talking about the Obi-Wan, right? And don't Dayrim. We're talking about blade lengths and the length of blade as well as your depth within the sabers and the different style of sabers. Like for instance, the one that I'm working on right now, which is called the Balance, right? Um, I have I have a pretty much almost 2 inches in blade depth right here. I mean, it's pretty damn deep. And once I got that blade in there, it ain't gonna go nowhere, man. It ain't gonna fall out. It'll probably break before it falls out. And so and I've got a blade from Space Windu right here, and I showed that right here. This is from Roy Boy right here, and then if you go a little further, that is the blade depth on this hilt right here. So if I'm gonna put the blade in here, you can see that that's oh, well, I can't. Right now, I'm still working on it, and I haven't even wired anything up on here. I really wish I could, but you see, I'm still working on the buttons and the chassis and everything else right now. Um, I've got very few wires in there right now. Even the pins are not glued down right now. So because I've still got all kinds of things. Um, Right now, I'm working on a magnetic pin system here that, oh, yeah, thank you, dude. I appreciate that, man. I appreciate that. As a matter of fact, James, you're gonna love this, dude, because you know how I was trying to achieve the
Yeah,
magnetic
man.
stuff, right?
Yep.
Well, yesterday and today, I'm still kind of playing around with it, and it's gonna be very hard to see. But I got the two magnets, and I can't even grab it, man. But I've got the two magnets on the little thing right here, right? So if you
Nice.
can see that, and let me see if I can. Okay. So you see how
Oh
I'm
yeah.
gonna turn it this way. So see how that goes right there, right? And where is my? I'm gonna have to put this down, the blade down. Let me see here. Oh, okay. So you see how I have the magnet right there on the clamp card, right?
Cards. Yeah.
Hey, Chet, welcome, dude. So we're
Hey,
gonna
what's
see.
happening? Woohoo!
Okay, so you can see it's got man. Let me see. You can see I've got a little bit of things right here, right? So I might have to
Little
take
distance.
one, yeah, a little distance. I might have to take one of those magnets off. But look at that. Look at that. It's holding the clamp card on, dude.
That's
And
cool.
let's see if I can. I don't know. Can you hear that?
Yeah.
You hear the little clicky clicky?
Yeah, it's
That means
working.
I'm on the right track.
Yep.
I'm on the right
Yep.
track, man.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So,
Yeah, because that'll really help in the long run. Um, you can also do this. You can also make a PC board spacer
hmm
underneath the control box. You know, you shave it down, make it the same size as that, and put it underneath the control box. Then the clamp card will sit nice and flush. Should be able to. Won't give you that much space. You know,
hmm
maybe the PC board is a little thick, so I don't know. It's hard to say, but that's cool though. That's really
yeah,
pretty cool.
but it's getting there, man. And that just like I said, I might need to just kind of take one magnet off, and it should kind of sit a little flush right there. No, Gertrude's Diddy, dude. No, it's a lot of trial and error, dude. A lot of trial and error, man. King Cobra just makes the magic ones. Oh shoot, that's badass, dude. Magic ones, huh? I got a buddy of mine who just took his daughter. Well, actually, my brother-in-law just took his daughter to Harry Potter stuff over there in Orlando, Florida,
Hmm,
and they did all that stuff. That was pretty cool, man. So, and I think eventually I'm gonna make his daughters. He don't know yet because he doesn't really watch the show. But eventually I'm gonna make his daughters some sabers, for Christmas.
that's cool.
After I get all of these done first. You in Orlando? Dude, that's awesome, man. That is awesome. Yeah, my brother-in-law's from Washington State, so they went down there and they were gonna do all that good stuff. That's cool, man. I'm in Texas, dude. I'm in Corpus Christi, Texas. They're about to open the Super Nintendo World. I heard about that. I heard about that. That's gonna be interesting. Super Nintendo World. So, but yeah, I've got the chassis in here, and I wanted to see the cool thing about this as well is that I can actually take my little pliers right here and then pull, and this is the reason why I did it because I wouldn't be able to take the chassis out um, without taking these off, right? Because of the length it would interfere with taking the chassis out. And I did not want to have to anything interfere with taking the chassis out. Let me get that. Okay, good. Now, and I'm gonna have to take these things off. So right now, and I've got the box one low profile on here. Where's my flat edge? Um, is it for home
Yeah, which should
defense?
work.
Eventually, right? I'm waiting for, well, Actually, if I can get that technology from oh, shoot, what's his name? Hacksmith for his lightsaber technology, man. I tell you what, man, that'd definitely be because that'll melt anybody's face off.
Hmm.
You ever watch Hacksmith stuff?
I haven't seen anything in a while.
Oh man, you should see the lightsaber stuff that he does. If you haven't seen his latest one, well, right now
Do you
he's
mean with
making
the
a.
do you mean with the propane lightsabers?
Oh yeah,
Okay, yeah, I've seen those one. I've seen that one. He's got a new one now,
yeah,
right?
I think so. And if it's not a new one with the propane one, I know they're doing a full body armor
Or
suit.
plasma, I think, or whatever they're actually doing.
But
Plasma. Yeah.
yeah, it's plasma. But it's a black powder rifle for home defense. Oh, I'd rather go with a shotgun. Shotgun, you get more things out of it. So let me go ahead. Hey, Gertrude, I'm gonna show you. I'll show you the chassis, right? And the chassis was printed for me by Rich Sangillo, and he does wonderful chassis. And as a matter of fact, James here does some pretty awesome chassis as well, man. So you've got choices, dude. And if you have any like flashlight type stuff, James is a wizard at getting what is it? Uh, chassis for flashlights, man. And I
Yeah, I
tell
love
you,
those things.
they are fun for him.
Yeah, the
So
design part is really the fun part, you know.
I think that's the most. I think that's one of the most fun parts is just designing stuff and then um and then seeing it come to life, right?
Yeah, doing it right now. Actually, I have a couple of chassis printing, and for the couple installs I have to go and did a little reverse effect on them, and put the board down by the bottom with the speaker, and got
Hmm.
a little more wall diffusion and stuff. So I'm gonna test that theory out, see how it works, and should be pretty cool. And included a small little plastic, chamber chip,
Hmm.
I call it, just to keep it looking like it's a crystal chamber, at least motivated in there. So I never like to leave a
Right?
chassis without a chamber if I can help it somehow. So, um, it kind of feels like it's just a battery and a board, really pretty much without that, you know.
There you go. So here's the chassis. Oh, and then let's see what in it says. But my Ripper blade doesn't have a solid connection. Should send down the credit blade, put a polycarbonate and hold the adapter. Let's see.
Hmm.
A question about acrylic blades and recently upgraded my saber from a Tricrete to a pixel blade. Yeah, and then I love Ripper blades, dude, and I'm gonna tell you, um, with your acrylic Ripper blade, if you're changing your Tricrete out, okay, and you're going to put in, your pixel. Yes, do the polycarbonate blade because acrylic blades are really not meant for fighting at all. I mean, swinging around, you could swing them around and everything like that, right? But if you hit them, you drop them, or anything else like that, it's gonna kind of, yeah,
They could
acrylic.
shatter too.
Yeah, acrylic is a whole different beast compared to polycarbonate, man. And your acrylic blades are more or less your show blades, right? You're really not going to hit anything with them. You can swing them around, and if you drop them, then yeah, you could potentially damage them pretty good. Um, but the Ripper blades, they are freaking awesome, dude. I think Ripper blades are the best acrylic blades out there because he really takes time to look at details when it comes to those. And Gertrude. Oh man, it's funny.
He's got a lot of good designs too. You know.
Right. Yeah. As a matter of fact, one of these days, and I mean, it's not anytime soon, but I plan on doing a Highlander hilt with a Ripper blade, and you know, um, I
Well,
think that's gonna be a fun build.
check out Mystic Knights too, because he does blades also. He's got some really cool ones. I got one from him too, and it's really
Mystic
well done.
Knights.
It's
Okay.
yeah, Mystic Knights. Yeah,
Oh.
really man, he's really good at his trade, man. He's got some nice blades. You know, more of the older times, but he's got some new different metal on plastic ones with NeoPixel through
Hmm.
them. They're really incredible. I have one and it's just for RGB, but my RGB is super bright, so it lights all the way up to the tip, and it's really cool. Um, so I think he's got one for the Omen lightsaber now. So there's all
Hmm.
kinds of stuff. I bought the blade before he made. I bought one of the blades that he had so I could finish my Omen setup, and then he went and he built the Omen blade for that hilt. So I'm gonna go back and I'm eventually gonna get that blade again so it matches this time. But
Hmm.
I have other stuff that I can use but very great good quality stuff. I mean, it's definitely check him out. He's cool too. Cool guy also.
Yeah, I definitely gonna need to check him out, man, because like I said, the only one that I've known is Ripper Blades,
Yeah.
and he has so many different blades, but Mystic Blades, yeah, and see that's a good thing too because you want a variety of people doing a variety of the same kind of different blades because when you pretty much have a monopoly of something, I mean, it kind of defeats the purpose of having fun checking everybody else's work, you know.
Yeah.
And so you want to make sure that you look at everybody else's work too, not just go to one place and check out
Yeah.
who has different stuff because
Gotta shop
not
around.
everybody shop around, man, because actually, you can find some gems in different places that you would never believe, you go to one place and you're like, dude, why didn't I go over here? It's like, oh my God, Um,
Totally.
it's like it's like you
Totally.
go to you go buy a car at your local dealership, but then let's say you decide you want to go out and venture out past your town, go to another town, you find that same vehicle that you were wanting for a hell of a lot less. You're like, man, why the hell did I not do this before?
Mm,
I mean, come on.
shopping around. That's how it works.
Oh
Gotta
yeah.
do it.
But it's also fun because you get to see different designs I mean, like I said, different people have different designs, and the different designs, it makes the world go around too. You
Oh
just,
yeah.
if you're buying the same old thing all the time, and then, you tend to get a little stagnant on things. And you want to keep it fresh, you gotta do certain things. So,
Yeah, very nice
um,
show blades and stuff like that too that he puts out also. So it's like it's the katana kind. You know, he'll do those, which are really nice. He's got a good way of doing things with when it comes to metal and the acrylic blades.
mhm.
He's got that his his um his flow down really well. It's pretty cool, man. Um,
Now, if anybody is interested in katana type sabers, you need to check out Darth Alice's work. Todd
okay.
Johnson. I mean, oh my God, he has got some great hilts that just blow me away. And he's his work on the Japanese style swords and sabers is just unbelievable. And he's working on some new stuff too. He does a lot of laser etching as well. And he sends me some sneak peek stuff sometimes, and I get to see some
Nice.
of his early work before he even throws it out there. And it's like, what? I can't wait to see the rest of it. Like,
I know, right?
damn.
Little
Like,
sneak peeks.
yeah, the teasers, man. I and I think teasers are such a great way to get people interested in things as well. You know,
Well, it's
uh,
exciting too. It's like bring back the excitement again. So it's always a show, man. You got to make it. Part of the whole program. You got to really do everything that's possible to you know feel good about what you're doing and what you're creating, and hopefully one day selling or joining forces, which is sometimes even um, a great ending point too. Because
mhm.
sometimes two minds are better than one, depending on the situation. Well, who's got what field and what this and what that. Basically, it's pretty good. It's hard to be a one man show and do all the things without the community, because they're pretty much the ones letting us know that, hey, we should go back to the movies and check that out, because didn't know lightsabers could do all that stuff, but then you find out that they can, and it's like, got to change it so that it represents that, fairly close.
It is so funny how some of the designs have come out, like that Legos that I was telling you about, right? The Darth Vader Lego, and you see some of the dark, the Lego hilts actually come out. It's
Oh
like,
yeah,
dude, right?
I
And you
know.
wouldn't think of that stuff. And then you got the Thundercats hilt. You got
Yep,
all these other out of Star Wars universe hilts that come out,
yep.
and
I love my
and
Thundercats
it,
belt, man. That's why I got that blade. And it's heavy. It's a really heavy piece. I still think the one from Jawa's Junkyard that I have,
oh, the Dagan Gera one.
the Dagon Gara. Yes, sorry, it slipped my mind, because that's a heavy hilt. When you put it in your hand, it's like, okay, I'm holding something really, really
I
amazing.
That's another one I gotta acquire. I have to acquire that
It's
one as well.
it's very cool.
Um,
Yeah.
and I pretty much know I'm probably gonna need a lot of help when I decide to wire that one up, man. So I'll be calling on you and a
Pretty
few other
pretty good.
people for sure.
It's really nice. Everything was done very well with the chassis and everything, and I wanted to go. I went personally. I went. I got the half. I got the master chassis, so it's got it's got the brass section for the emitter and stuff,
Hmm.
crystal chamber. Which I mean, if you're gonna have the hilt, you might as well get that part, because it really makes it look cool, and sets it off. And you can see the crystal through the emitter section part. It's
Hmm.
really a nice hilt, pretty nice. But the weight, see, I like that. And we were talking about blade length. Well, I think to counteract that blade, it would probably be a good 36 inch, to maybe even a 40 inch, to counter out the
Hmm.
balance of that. Unless you actually run a dual setup, you can run that hilt in a dual setup, with a coupler, and I would suggest probably shorter blades on the dual setup, because now you're dealing with more weight, and not necessarily more flow. That way. My opinion. I don't know.
That's
It depends.
that's a great point that you brought up, man. That
Dual.
totally slipped my mind as for the dual blades, and the staff as well, right?
Yeah.
Man, and I had it on my paperwork, and I had it in my brain, and it just totally slipped up here about the staff and the dual hilts. Um, as far as blade length goes and stuff like that. And you
Yeah.
couldn't be more right about that, because you want things to balance out. You want to be comfortable, because if you're
Yeah.
swinging these things, around quite a bit, you're going to get tired pretty quickly, knowing that,
Yeah.
this hilt is either fairly heavy, or the blade is so long that it actually puts a little bit of weight on there. And so
Yeah.
that's an important point. I'm glad you brought that up, James. Thank you so
Yeah.
much for bringing
Oh
that up.
yeah. And I'm
Um,
also
I,
thinking that if to be honest with you, if you're a tall person, like I'm like 5'9", not really 6 feet yet. So some days I feel like I'm 5'7", but other days I'm 5'9". So
If we ever meet, I'll be like this.
yeah, I'm not. I'm more like 5'8", I think now. So I'm shrinking
Oh,
now.
okay.
So yeah.
I,
And I'm at the
I'll still
shrinking
be,
stage, But
I'll still be
what I'm
looking a
saying
little
is,
bit upward.
but also the reach of where you like. If we're talking about a double bladed saber, it depends on where you want to put that saber. Like more closer to the ground. How what kind of style you're going to be. Doing with it. Um,
Hmm.
and blades really have a lot to do with the balance of that.
They do.
Again,
Yeah,
it's
they
a
do.
personal preference and weight, how it feels, so you could do those things that you want to do.
Absolutely. Gertrude Stiddy, let me ask you this: how are are you a beginner, intermediate, or are you a seasoned vet in saber making? Um, or do you just basically buy your sabers straight out? Um, Give me some feedback here, man. Well, we want to learn a little bit about you, man. Welcome to the show. So come on and let's have some fun talking about stuff like that as well. Like I said, for people who come on who haven't come on before me, it's like we're talking across the table, having a drink together and talking about this stuff. So it's always enjoyable to see new people come, hang out, and speak with us in terms of on the chat and everything. Rich, really appreciate you, dude. Really appreciate you being here. And that's what this channel is all about, man. That's what it's worth. And we hope that we can bring you a little bit of entertainment as well and have some fun talking about this stuff for you because we certainly enjoy it, right? And then,
You
right?
bet. Hell
It's
yeah.
always it's a lot of fun, man. It's always
And the
fun and
sabers up
enjoyable
for
talking about it.
the New Year's, man. That's what I want to do. I'm gonna go out
As a
there
matter of fact,
and do that.
I gotta.
This thing is so
I
bright.
want to
This
get
thing
my
is
name.
so bright it'll light up my neighborhood. It's crazy. It looks good though. I mean, even the tip looks pretty good, but it's
Yeah,
a nice blade, And I don't get any of that crazy shadowing and stuff like within the blade. It's nice. Flows nice.
I'm gonna get mine set up right here so we can turn this one on. Ooh, what was that one?
Woohoo, the Avenger.
Oh, the Avenger. Okay, I have that
Haha.
one.
Love this red though. I mean, the colors really pop in this blade. It makes me look all weird, but I'll tell you, this thing is it is super bright. I could
I
probably cook my
do.
eggs in the morning on it. Woo!
It's
Wow,
funny.
I'm like half of my face is red, like Close Encounters. When the heat of the ship went by. Well, that thing just went
Yeah. Oh, here.
crazy.
Speaking of the Legos, right? Here's one of the other things that I got for the Legos, man. You can
Nice,
see
man.
the
Oh
Mando,
yeah,
the
cool.
ship.
Yeah. Oh
I
man,
mean,
that's
it's
awesome.
dude.
I
It
love
even
those
got
collectors.
little
That's so
Grogu back
collection.
there.
Oh no, that's so cool. Wow,
Yeah,
that's
and
great, man.
I've got a bigger one. I've got a bigger one of these, and like I said, Kelly and the girls got me those, and they eventually they're gonna get me some with like I said, I've got the Vader one that I showed you, right? And where did I put him? Did I put him somewhere else? Oh yeah. So there goes the damn Vader. So I got the Vader one, right? And then Obi one is in the same bag box as
That's
Vader,
cool.
and you get to see he's got the little lightsaber right there, right? So
Fantastic, man.
eventually they're gonna go up here and they're gonna be facing each other. So I'm gonna have Vader and Obi Wan
That's cool.
facing each other.
That's
so
cool.
so that'll be in the future where you can see some of the stuff like that, right?
Oh sure.
Let me see
You get
where's.
a whole wall like that, man. It's like this thing has got everything. I love
Well,
these
and
things.
see that's the thing is this entertainment center that I have right here. I'm actually kind of I'm
Yeah.
contemplating on either selling it and put a full wall of stuff right there.
So you got
Oh,
these little
dude.
guys. So like
There
the
you go.
so like the little 3D printed ones, and then you just paint over. I just
Yeah.
painted the stormtrooper, and I'm gonna work on him,
They,
but
they
it's just
look
so funny.
great, dude.
Yeah, they come out pretty nice. The 3D printing is pretty amazing nowadays. It's a lot of fun
They looks
using new
great.
stuff.
Oh, dude. I think I've got. Oh, I did. My SD card is still in the computer here.
Yeah,
Pull
they
it
printed a
out.
whole bunch of things. A lot of stuff, man. It's crazy. Nice to do tests and see how things come out, and
Mhm.
um,
Now,
oh yeah, and
eventually, I want to get a
I'm
3D
trying
printer.
something else too, by the way, and it's pretty wild. But I'm working with that TPU filament stuff, and I'm actually
Hmm.
trying to print shoes. Check it out. So this is
Are
like a
you
soft.
serious?
This is a shoe. It's a
No, no,
Croc.
the
It's a
crop.
Croc shoe.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So yeah, so I printed it out with this, the TPU filament. It's a plastic spongy stuff.
That's
And
wild.
I finished it today, so I'm gonna check it out and see. I got to add all the other parts to it, but it's my first shoe that I've ever printed today, and I'm pretty proud of it because it came out pretty good.
Damn. That's
nice,
pretty
nice and
good,
soft.
dude.
Yeah, nice and soft. It's got the bottom. It's got the bottom. Rough.
Yeah,
The rough parts, and
yeah.
it's very flexible, like ridiculously flexible. It's crazy.
Dang, no
So
more buying your shoes, dude. You could make them yourself.
I'm telling you, there's already a lot of people out there that are already selling their own market of shoe now, 3D printed.
Wow,
Yeah, and
that
this
is
is this is
crazy.
just a file that you get online. You buy the file and you just print it for yourself. You
Yeah,
can't resell these. But if I make my own design of shoe, now I at least know that. Now I know that I could. Pretty cool.
right.
Ah,
Spawn your last web, Spider-Man.
ah, I know that one.
I had to show off one of your fonts, man.
I love that one. It's so cool. Oh my God, look at
Dude, I love that. I love that. Oh, yeah. Follow that cold shimmer down your spine.
that. Great movies. That movie is really cool too.
Oh man, I watch it all the time too.
I know it. That's pretty cool. I like how it goes
Love it.
purple.
Yeah, and this is the red Dayblade, man.
That's
It
really
brings
cool.
out some kick-ass colors, dude.
Sound menu.
That is the Gigabyte one, but I
Oh,
think
okay.
I missed now. The Gigawatt. Sorry, Gigawatt. I missaid it, but I think I might need to put. I don't know if it was the for whatever reason some of the quotes are not coming out on there, so I need to play around with it and find out what I did wrong. You know what I
And
mean?
what board is that's a CF? Is that CFX or Golden
Gold,
Harvest?
no, Golden Harvest
Okay, Golden Harvest.
or
So I don't. I have to look into it, but I don't think it has quotes. I think you have to use like you put them as a force or something
uh
like that. I don't think. I don't know if. Well, maybe the new one might put in some quotes, but I don't remember having quotes for the GHV3. I think it would be
hmm
more towards like the force end. So some of those would have to be renamed to something else like force or blast or something like that you can utilize it.
hmm
Yeah, I don't know if maybe in a new update I'm not sure. Maybe somebody already knows, but I haven't messed around with the GHV3 in a while. I've been on the other ones, and now the new one,
Hmm.
which I'm going to try and install into something pretty soon because it's getting popular now. So it's looking pretty good with that one. It's pretty nice.
Oh, I love it, dude. I just need to
Yeah,
get it right with the quotes and everything. And I think there's
yeah. I
some of
got.
the I think there's some of the things that I may have not done to make sure that it comes out properly. And
Yeah,
that's for the next.
I think what I had was a universal folder probably for the quotes and stuff, and then you take those and you can bring them into your folder and then rename them whatever you want. Like you can use them as like a blast segment or force segment. To
Yeah, and
really
I think that's
respond
what I
really
didn't do.
quickly. Yeah,
Yeah, I think that's what I didn't do is put them on the force segment like that. And that's probably
yeah,
why they're not coming out like that the way they should be. And that's on me.
yeah. I don't
But
think
again,
it doesn't have a like a actual quote folder. It doesn't. GHV3 I don't believe has that at the moment.
hmm
That's why I don't think I had incorporated them that way. I usually put them in as extras.
right. And as a matter of fact, that's gonna be next week's show is the troubles with sound fonts, for the people who like me, kind of mess things up, or they're they get their quotes, they get their fonts and they install them and they're like having a little bit of trouble for things and stuff like that. So I think that'll be a
Yeah,
great show to kind of help the people like that, um, what they've done wrong, what maybe some people have not showcased on any of the YouTube channels, as far as what to do, like with the extra folders and stuff like that. For those people who don't know how to do stuff like that, I think that would be a
right.
great show
Yeah,
for people to
yeah,
see,
yeah.
and that'll
I
be
have
that.
I usually do that more on a actually, to be honest with you, I do that more on a personal level because it for me I have maybe one, two, three, maybe five at the most contact me personally through my website and ask, hey,
Hmm.
how do I get this or how do I get that play style? This one's not, I don't understand the file format or something. And so I usually do it on a personal level or if they email me or something like that. Um,
Hmm.
but yeah, some sort of a video. I think there are a few of them out there that show you basically how to do a lot of the programming. Get the fonts in the folders, get everything in there. Um, I think just about most of the boards have some videos that show that out there on YouTube somewhere. There's always I believe there is one for that, um, and how to get it on there, what file formats and all that stuff, and then a lot of people learn from that, and they start to, create their own stuff or, you know, collaborate with somebody else on making, you know, those kind of sounds or files or blade styles for that matter. Because
Hmm.
a
Now
lot of
the
people
blade
doing
styles are
doing
really
the app
interesting.
blade, the app blade styles too.
Hmm.
Go on the app and you could change all that stuff on the fly and then make it your own and save it in there. So that those are really helping now, the phone apps and stuff.
Oh my God,
As long as you have Bluetooth.
now that's another thing I have not done yet either, is to buy a Bluetooth module and put
The
it in.
Bluetooth, yeah,
So,
they're pretty good. They're really easy. They're not that hard.
hmm,
Not that hard at all. Um,
that's going to be
obviously,
my next step.
GHV4 is going to have that already internally, so you don't have to worry about that. But yeah,
Hmm.
buying those modules are great, and Xeno 3 has a Bluetooth built in as well. So um,
I think that's another one that I think I want to acquire is a Xeno board
yeah,
and
the
work on
V3s,
that. You know.
they're
Hmm.
nice. It's a pretty good board. does a lot of things now. It's catching up, and it's it has a lot of some of the basic functions still that people just want, and makes it easy and very very small learning curve. To learn the button controls and things like that. So they've done pretty well. I mean, it depends on the budget and caliber of the person who wants it. What are you trying to do with it? What do is it going to be your everyday showpiece, or you're just going to, um, you know, duel with it, or something like that? Something that it can take some force and things like that. So, lots of things to
Mhm.
think about. You know.
Gertrude, you still around? Well, I hope you're still around, buddy. I mean, that's good, man. I'm glad you're still around. And then Showblades, yeah, they were a lot of fun, dude. A lot of fun for Showblades. Now, do you have you gone to some cons, James?
Um, I have actually not yet. I
Not yet.
wanted to when I first started doing this. I may eventually do something. I wanted to create my own character and things like that, trying to absorb that instead of just picking my one of my favorite characters or a favorite. Probably just
Hmm.
devise something of my own and create something along those lines. If I was to go to one, yeah, it would be a very cool. It'd be interesting. Not everybody would
Right.
see me or know me. I would build a helmet or a mask or something to that effect where I can be that lone guy. Who nobody knows who he is.
Watch out. That
Yeah.
stuff catches up with you, man. Then everybody's gonna know who you are.
Yeah, yeah. No, I haven't had the chance yet, but I am. I love keeping, you know, the. I love keeping the sabers that do go in function. You know what I mean? And give them good
Oh, I
sounds to,
know.
you know, give them good sounds to go out there with and have an awesome time. Um,
Here's an
they,
awesome thought for you, man.
yeah,
Make some saber drumsticks.
yeah. They do have those light up ones at the ends. They do light up,
Do
and I think
they?
they're really cool. They don't make noise or anything, but with technology today, they've already got those Bluetooth sticks, that sound like drums, and you could put them in your ear or your phone, and you could just do
Yeah,
this
I
and
was
do
gonna
all.
say.
You could just invisible drums, and the sticks do it all. Well, pretty amazing technology, but that's something that I would love to see, for light up sticks.
Right.
That would be cool.
I can just picture you right now, dude, with some lightsaber drumsticks and just going at it, dude.
Yeah,
Not
I never
only
had the
would you
light up
do it
ones,
then,
but
Lisa.
had the glow in the dark sticks. Those were fun. They don't last a long time though, but they
Right.
live pretty
I
long.
mean, like you said, technology changes so much, man. You never know.
Yeah, yeah. It's like you don't
Yeah.
even need a drum set anymore. You just sit there, and it's just motion now. Everything is motion and position now. It's not
Oh my
geographics more
God.
than it is the actual instrument. I know it's kind of cool, but in the end, I always still love the original instruments like drums and guitar and stuff, and
Hmm.
you know, every once in a while, well, like I say, I compose stuff still. So every once
Hmm.
in a while, I'll pick up a guitar for that piece of composition, or maybe just do a drum track. Uh, that somebody likes.
Well,
In their
even Darth Maul,
song, or whatever.
He's got videos out that he just does drums, man. I mean, he
Oh
goes
yeah, I
at it.
know it. Yeah, yep, yep. Oh, for sure.
I'm all like, man, hey, he's pretty good. Hey, he's
Oh
pretty good, man. I was like,
yeah,
dude, he's killing it on the drums.
yeah. That's some good stuff, man. My cup matches my lights. I don't know how they did that, but it matches my lights. That's pretty funny.
instinctively, instinctively did it.
I think
That
I
is
did
pretty
today,
good.
man. I don't know. That's pretty funny. I chose green and red, and there it is. Pretty funny.
Were you working on one of your flashlight hilts today, or what?
Today I'm doing I'm doing two Mitsuguri hilts from
Oh.
I think they're KR Sabers. I think KR.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's what they are. Doing custom chassis for those, removable, so that you can keep the button stuff intact. It has a dual button setup, one top, one small tactile on the bottom, round tip, which is nice.
Mm-hmm.
Those are always pretty cool setups. Um, so I wanted to keep the board low, keep the chassis down, give them some sort of a little, small chamber idea with a little chip, and then I have the battery sitting like way up in the middle of the hilt, so it's good for balance. And then
Mm-hmm.
I used a what am I doing? What I said used a the PBCs for the PCBs for the removable parts, so that everything comes in and you can just clamp it right in there. Because
Mm-hmm.
these type actually had the static chassis in them, so you remove the grip and you pull it off, and there's the whole chassis, sitting still attached. Well, I'm changing all that, going the other way, and converting them
Yeah,
to
that's what
NeoPixel
this one
because
is.
they were LED. So
Mm-hmm. That's what this one is. It's gonna stay in here, and you just be able to pull the body out, right?
right,
Um,
yeah,
and because I don't want to remove the whole, I'd rather remove just the body and keep the hilt and the and the emitter part together, so that
yeah. Sometimes it's
it
hard
stays.
because of the way that it's designed, and you can't get the buttons to come back up. And some of these hilts, the hole is either specially drilled out so that the switch screws into it, or you get lucky
Yeah.
and it just press fits in. And then, but to bring it back up through,
Mm-hmm.
to a certain comfortable height to press the button, that's not always possible in a very thin hilt like I'm working on now, because you know diameter is pretty thin in there. I mean, you could do it, but you'd have to have a lot of modifications to get you'd have to have that special switch card with everything that comes up all at once, so you just alleviate so many headaches that way.
Yeah. That's I mean, it's
Or like
you
you're doing
know.
your magnetics stuff like that, getting
Hmm.
across those boundaries is awesome, trying to defeat what can't be done. That's where I'm at pretty much every day. It's crazy. It's great though. I love it
Ingenuity,
because
man.
well, it's a challenge, and it's the spiritual part of it again too. It's
Yeah. It
it means a
really.
lot when you sit down, you actually think of things and you can design things, and you're like, wow, I just did that. That's pretty cool. So
Yeah, I actually didn't think that was gonna. Actually, with the magnets, man, I had bought those magnets a long time ago
yeah,
from Wish, and I had bought them for the specific part that I thought, okay, you know how I think it was the LS hilt or something that had you could use the magnets for I think like uh the crystal chamber cover, right? Or the battery cover.
yeah,
I'd always
sure,
seen stuff like that on the chassis. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, you know, um as tiny as those magnets are, I mean, look how
yeah, they're
tiny these
very
things.
nice.
This is two of them together, and I mean, it's just like that, right? And I'm thinking to myself, okay, well, if they're using magnets like that to hold parts on like that, I mean, shit, I could do that. I mean, um,
Yeah,
I looked for these magnets, and I found these magnets off of Wish, and a whole roll was like, oh, I think I paid probably like $1.05 or something like that for probably like almost 80 or 90 of these things, right?
sure,
And
yeah. If you get them in bulk,
yeah, and I was thinking to myself, my God, what am I gonna? I haven't done anything with them yet, and how am I gonna do certain things? When I started this, my dad's hilt, I was like, how? What am I gonna do for the uh the buttons? And Rich was suggesting, certain things, And I was thinking to myself, he was giving me ideas on what to use for buttons and stuff, um, actuators, and I was like, okay. And then I kind of come across, I bought these over at Hobby Lobby, right? Just applicators. And they're pretty flimsy. They're pretty flimsy applicators. And I'm thinking to myself, shit, I'm gonna cut these. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna sand them down a little bit. And then I'll put the magnets on there and see if that works. And lo and behold, there you go.
Yeah, it gives
It
a
kind
nice
of worked
shape,
out.
Yeah, because it's hard to stick to those little, tactile switches. You have to have something really tiny or a long stem with, it's something, printed out for it to go into or like those, you drill a small tiny
Well,
hole and it goes on there. It's a lot.
what
There's a
I
lot of stuff.
there was. I mean, the way I did certain things was, I would take the magnet, and if you could see, I would set the magnet like this, and then I put the little part and glue it like this right here, right?
Right. That's
And then
nice.
I'd let
Yeah.
it sit, and I'd let it sit overnight until it had heat to it.
Oh,
And then
sure.
of course I could test it out. You see, I still have a couple of magnets on there, right? But yet here is the regular part that it's got just a single LED magnet right there
Magnet
onto
on
it.
there. It's nice.
And so it's like, oh, dude, okay, so that shit works. Like, it works. It
Yeah.
actually works. Now, the bad part about that is that the E6000, it kind of comes off. One of them came off so many times, I almost got to the point where I'm like, uh, yeah, okay. Am I gonna have to use something else instead? If I'm gonna use like super glue, like Gorilla Glue or something else other than E6000, I really don't want
Well, it
to
depends
because
on the
then,
application, and if you got with the E6000, there's make sure that you get the most liquidy stuff coming out of the tube or the bottle because if you get the dry stuff, it's already
right?
gone. It doesn't have the application process. So once you stick
Mm-hmm.
that little bit of wet stuff right on there and then you dab it in there and you let it sit for like at least 15, 20 minutes, it usually bonds. It depends on the surface. Um,
Yeah, it took a few times for one of those buttons to actually sit right and not get
yeah,
totally ripped off when I utilized the magnets because it's like,
yeah.
damn.
Well, the
But
acrylic glues
it
work pretty
works.
good for that stuff too.
Mm-hmm.
They're a little harder. They're a little harder surface, so you know, movement and stuff like that. They still have to be pliable. That's why either E6000 or Crazy Glue. With it, it won't have to go anywhere. It's usually a pretty good bond.
So that has that, and but that was like you said, a challenge in itself, and for
It
people to
is.
come, you know, when you're doing, and especially when it comes to blades too, the challenge to the blades, like I do have with this one right now that I pulled out and stuff right now. Now, at times it'll light up all the way, right? And at times it doesn't light up at all. At times it lights up part of the way. So you want to make sure that you do kind of check your wiring, make sure where your shorts are and stuff like that. And then again, it could be, if you're using connections like this, I mean, they may not be properly set. So you want to make sure that anytime that you do any kind of soldering and stuff like that, check your solder, make sure that you have a good connection and a good solder because anytime you do stuff like that, let me see, because if I was to take, yeah, I'll show you a little bit here. Let me open
Be
this
right back.
up.
Checking my print. I'll be right back. Hang on a second.
Yeah, go for it. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take the blade out of this hilt right here, and and I'm pretty sure that with the setup that I have to test this blade out, I'm not gonna, the LEDs haven't been working properly on here, so I'm having to figure out what is going on with where the short is coming from this blade and uh, and fix it. Now, if I can't fix it, because quite a few, I've already cut out quite a few LEDs to make it shorter. Of course, it doesn't matter with this strip anyway, because with this strip, I'm going to do a short blade anyhow, right? So you get your test, you get your you could take some blade stock like this and wire up, your little test blade like that, and then you put everything all together, and it did not. Let's see. I'm gonna fire it up, and then we're gonna see if it lights up. See, now you can see it's not lighting anything up, and you want to make sure. See, all my connections on here are good. I'm not sure though why this blade is not. And I have a feeling that it's in within this thing. So if you see, the blade is not lighting up. And even just my little test rig right here, I'm thinking it might be within. Let me get this. Let's see here. Gotta pull this out a little bit because it gets a little tight in there. Sanding this thing is like crazy though. And I mean everything's okay in there, but let's see. Okay, you see, and that didn't show it, but you're gonna see. I'm gonna put it right here, and I'm gonna turn it. See if I can get it to just kind of come on for. See that split second turn on? So somewhere in the connections, you know that it ain't working right. But and I know that this whole strip can light up. So I just need to find out where the problem is before I can actually turn it into a small lamp saber blade, right? And those are some of the challenges. Oh, it's funny. I want to swing this around with nothing. I don't even have any. I just have some regular pin set right there.
Yeah, it's the old pin set. Yeah.
Old pin set. But of course, that's what you get actually when you get the core set up from TCSS.
Yeah.
Later on, I'm thinking of putting in the CC Sabers in here.
Yeah, they're good.
I'll
I use
probably-
them. I use those a lot.
So I'm gonna buy some more of those, and I'll probably end up taking these pins out and put in the CC Sabers ones. I think
Yeah,
that'll be a
that's a
lot
real
better.
easy. That's so easy to do. Those are really great. They're
Mhm.
nice. It's a nice, easy setup.
Mm-hmm. The CC Sabers is gonna go into the balance hilt, so, and that's what you see right here, right now. But like I said, they're not set in there just yet, right now. I just wanted to see how they're gonna fit in there. And Rich is the one that kind of got me into the CC Sabers ones, man. I was like, oh, dude, those are pretty damn good, for
Yeah,
what they are.
they're very good LEDs on it. The stock ones are good too. The stock ones are a
Mm-hmm.
little more crystal, a little bit more clear, and you could do a little bit more with them. But still, for
Mm-hmm.
an in-hilt LED, it's very good.
Yeah, I think the stock ones I'm gonna get too as well. I need to stock up
Yeah.
on those. Both the CC Sabers and the stock ones, and as well as the ones from Solos. Solos has some good ones too. Some pins. Um, they have a good pin system as well as Albert. They all have good pin systems,
Yeah.
and I think I think we need to do a show on pin systems one of these days.
There's
That'd be a lot of fun.
there's there's a couple of them out there. A lot of different ones. I have a lot of favorites.
Hmm.
Uh, the Smokers Outpost ones are good. That I use them usually on a daily, depending on the hilt.
Yeah, those are Alberts.
Depends on
Yeah,
the hilt
Smugglers
size.
is Alberts.
Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. So I use those, and there's one nice standard connector, but it's a plug-in connector, and it handles a lot. It's a very nice PCB board made by Saber Merchant, and it's a plug. So you put one end on the end, and then you put it in. You have to line it up, make sure it lines up, and then it clicks
Hmm.
in. So once you have that in, you have like so much control over. You could fill the whole board up with whatever you want with those, and
Wow.
it's nice, yeah, because it's a direct contact and it's a plug, so it can never really come out. So I use those on kind of special builds that will account for the size because it's a big size,
Hmm.
because it has to accommodate all those things that it does. Very cool though, and I love them. I think I used one for my I think my Vader, and it comes in and out, and it works pretty good. Uh, I used it for a customer too, and it really was really great. They enjoyed that.
Well, who wouldn't enjoy it?
Oh yeah, having all those settings, it's great because a lot of the button LEDs now are being not really being forfeited, but have to be substituted for a button pad instead of an actual LED, so we can switch them on and off and do things. So, but we're forgetting that
Hmm.
those PCBs take up a lot of space. There's a lot of all those things. It's just one more part on that PCB, and then they just get bigger and bigger the more you want. You know,
Yeah,
um, because
absolutely.
the traces is, if you go the other way and make them really small to get more than you want, you can't transfer all that energy through them. It'd be too hard to line everything up. It would have to be like micron exact, for the pins to be like not swaying and you know touching another pad or something like that. Sometimes it happens. A pin bends and it's like bam, and then your blade goes green, and then you're really in trouble. So
Right.
watch
And
those
that was
pins.
the thing. That was the crazy thing with this blade that I'm cutting down and to the small one because this thing was going crazy colors, dude. And I was like, I couldn't figure out what was going on with it and wasn't the wiring because I was thinking about maybe the pins and I was thinking to myself, well, what's going on? Because there's some of these LEDs that are not working. Hey, Scott Carpenter, welcome, dude.
Scott's on.
There were
Hey
some
man.
LEDs.
Woohoo.
Welcome to the show, man. Glad to have you here. Um, I was thinking to myself that what's going on with this strip that is just going absolutely nuts, right? It was like, okay, there's some dead LEDs in there. Is it the wiring? What's going on? Is it what's going on with it? Because no matter what I did, the coloring was totally off, and it was just, and then half of the strip wasn't working, so only one side of the strip was working. It's like, okay, there's a short in there, or something else is going on with the wiring. And I thought to myself, well, here's an opportunity. Instead of thinking, okay, what am I going to do? I'm going to throw away the whole strip and start with the brand new strip. Well, I'm going to start with a brand new strip for the blade there, but why not take the opportunity to figure out what's going on with this thing, correct that, make a shorter blade, and still have some LEDs to work with. instead of throwing the whole thing away. And I'm like, okay, there you go. We got a plan. Let's get
There
her
it is.
done. Let's
Yep.
get her done. So I'll have 3 blades or maybe 4 blades coming up soon. Well, not soon, but as soon as I can get to them made. But yeah, it's a plan in action, man. So I already have my brand new LEDs,
Nice.
got the 2 sets. So they're ready to go and ready to, whenever I'm ready to cut them and wire them up for the 28-inch blade. Whatever else I have left over here, decide what I'm going to do with those. And I can make some other different things too. I might end up making, um, and I had thought about, because I've got a bunch of small PVC pieces, I was thinking to myself, well, hell's bells. I don't know if it's possible, but I'll make like a miniature hilt, a miniature saber with the LED strips that I have. And I would only need one side, right? Well, 2 sides, but like a very small strip, and see how that turns out. So there's some ideas in there
They're
running through
nice
my
to
head.
do in the handle. Strips through the handle grips are really fun to do.
Hmm.
There's a couple of guys who do that out there. They're really fun to do. I like those.
So yeah, and if you kind of see, like, so this size of PVC pipe would not be adequate for, this, right? Um, so it would need probably the next size up. And bingo! Here we go. It will work. So there you go. Imagination, kids. Use it.
That's right.
And it'll never steer you wrong, man. And even if you don't get what you want out of it, try again, because no matter what you do, your imagination can carry you to the end of the world. And if it don't come out right the first time, try it again. Try it as many times until you are satisfied with what you have. Because when it comes to imagination and the sky's the limit, you achieve something that maybe nobody else has achieved. And we see it every day in this community. People are always jumping over and over and over and achieving something that we have not seen and are seeing. And it's unbelievable. um one of the things, again, like I was saying, I did not think that I could do certain things, and until I really tried with some things. You see this little piece right here? And I showed you this, like, was it last week, 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, something like that.
Yep.
The
Yep. That's
PLI.
cool.
And I actually was kind of toying with the idea, and because I had seen this from, TCSS having a button and everything for the low profile box one site, right? So here's a low profile box one, but it'd go better on just the box one itself, right? Okay, and then have a good one, dude. Happy New Year to you too, buddy. And if you set it just right, let me see here.
Take it
You
easy,
set
man.
it just
Sorry.
right.
I'm just seeing them pop up. I guess I'm delayed. I don't know when it's going.
It's all right. So here you go.
Oh
Now you
yeah.
got a PLI on box one right there. Now, and I was talking to James. I said, I can make a little cover of some kind, or get a 3D printed kind of like oval shape right on top of it, just like that. And you can have a piece like that, right?
I can actually do a. I could do a vacuum form, so that it would be clear plastic if you wanted.
Oh, there you go. See?
Yep.
And um
I love doing
man.
that
I
for a
tell you.
couple of different reasons. Like crystal chambers and things like that. You can get
Hmm.
pretty creative with it.
Oh yeah, and I was thinking to myself because see if you look, um, TCS, like I said, they have this piece like this, um, with the button that goes right on top, right? So the one with the button goes up on top and it screws right into the two screw holes right here. And you can buy it that way. Uh, and so it's just the creativity that you can bring to anything, and everybody just uh, can see what you're capable of, and you don't know what you're actually capable of until you try it.
Gotta
So
try it. Got
gotta
to
try
try
it,
it,
man.
especially with blade
Get it
length.
at
Because you never know.
especially.
There's so many
Yeah,
different grades out there, so many different plastics, so many different lights. There's a lot of things that to shop around and get what's right for you. So you don't want to buy that
absolutely.
blade. You don't want to buy that little blade, and all of a sudden it's not as bright as you want, or it doesn't have certain features. There's all kinds of things with them. So pretty important.
Absolutely. So, Scott and everybody, I want to thank you guys so much for coming and hanging out with us and talking blades, lengths, um, blades, Star Wars in general. I mean, we could talk about almost anything on here. Saber talk, anything sabers you want to talk about, whether it be boards, wiring, whatever have you will. And we could even talk about Star Wars in general. Uh, everything is flexible around here in Mundo's world.
Tomorrow is the drawing. So for the stands, I'm giving away. So don't forget about that. I'm gonna go on.
Ooh,
Yeah, I'm gonna go on Facebook Live. I'll do a quick. I'm gonna do the pull of the hat, and we'll have two winners.
what,
It'll be pretty good,
about
man.
what time?
I'm gonna do it 6 p.m. Pacific time. So that'll probably be around maybe
Okay,
8 o'clock by you guys. I think maybe
okay. So 6 years,
Eastern time. I think
and
it's
and
2 hours.
yeah. Okay, so I should be home. If I'm not home,
Yeah.
I might be on the way home. But I'm gonna keep an
Well,
eye
what
out
I'll
for
do
that.
if anybody misses it, I'll just have I'll just the name will be announced, and I'm sure the live thing will pop back up, and it'll still do a repeat. Plus, I'll email the winners and everything. So it'll be a really cool draw because I'm just gonna pull from the jar. I'll mix it all up, and it'll be a lot of fun.
Hmm.
Just
Oh yeah, and if I miss a live, I'll definitely watch it after I get home for sure.
oh yeah, man, it's a fun
I
little thing.
mean,
So that'll be tomorrow. At 6 p.m. So I'm just doing it on
okay.
Facebook. I'm not going to be on YouTube.
Yeah, okay. Sounds good to me. Titan, thank you so much, man. And I wish everybody a
Thanks,
happy
man.
new
Happy New
year.
Year.
And
Absolutely.
may the force be with you guys. And again, like I said, make sure you like and subscribe to Mountain Sabers. Make sure you like and subscribe to Civilized Sabers.
That's
And
right.
if anybody, you can always catch us on Facebook. Um, Also, whatever you see here on Civilized Sabers, I piggyback off with my channel, the Mundo channel. Anything you see here on Civilized Sabers, you can go to the Mundo channel and you'll be able to watch this video as well as other videos as well on the Mundo channel. The Mundo channel also may have some videos that you can't see here at Civilized Sabers. And so, and so check the Mundo channel out, give it some love and likes, hopefully. And you can also catch me at Instagram at Mundo Cabrera 7007. And thank you guys so much for hanging out with us. It means the world to us that you can come and talk Star Wars, talk sabers, and everything else in between. May you have a happy new year and everything else. James,
Happy New
I hope
Year.
you have happy new year, guys.
We'll
And let
see
me
you guys
see
next
here.
year.
Right? Mundo
Bye
out.